Hello, Bashar. So, my question is regarding deep beliefs, and in my case, I have this deep belief that um, any job will give me will restrain my will and will not let me do not let me be free on whatever I want to do. So when I have a job, what always happens is that I get annoyed by what I'm doing and I get frustrated, and I always feel like I don't belong. So I think this deep belief is connected to the way my professional life is been going. I'd like to have your opinion on that, and thank you so much for helping me.
Many people on your planet don't think that what it is they're passionate about can actually be a living, a job. So we would suggest that you explore what it is that's different between what you're passionate about and the jobs that you take that you think you need because you have a belief that without those jobs you will not survive. Allow yourself to explore the possibility that what you're truly passionate about can actually support you, can actually be a career. You just have to allow your imagination more free rein and open up to that possibility, because many people on your planet do make a living by following their passion. For example, the channeling right before you. If the channel had not followed his passion, he would not be channeling us to you. And along with other things that are representative of his passion, it has always supported him in life in the way that he needs to be supported. Again, there are many definitions of abundance and support. Don't limit yourself to the idea of only one or two definitions. But the idea is that whatever it is you're passionate about must, by definition, contain the ability to support you as a career, as a job, or different versions of it will do so. So open up your imagination and inspiration and be willing to explore the high probability and the high possibility that what it is at any given moment that you truly are passionate about is actually something that can sustain you in life.
Good day. Hi, Bashar.
Good day.
I have a childhood experience I'd like to share with you.
All right.
I thought I saw a ghost, and when I realized it was a ghost, it was at night, and I was in my home, and I went and laid down after that experience, and I was just terrified. It was the most fearful night of my life, and my eyes were shut. I didn't want to open them. And I heard in my ears moths. It sounded like flapping in my ears. And I sensed there might have been presences all around me, like
Yes.
beings,
Yes.
but I didn't know about ETs back then.
Well, and you also didn't understand about spirits and how there are presences around all the time, and that many children are still capable of sensing them and seeing them because they haven't learned not to yet. Although, because you were already infused with the idea that such experiences are to be treated with terror, that helps shut down those senses over time.
Uh, well, I was wondering if so that was that spirits around me, or was it a type of abduction?
More the idea of the perception of spirit.
Okay.
Although you have to understand, as we have recently said, because our civilization and other civilizations, being in a higher frequency, operate very closely to the spirit realm, there may be overlaps there where the idea of the perception of certain interdimensional beings is perceived as spirit or may be labeled as extraterrestrial, and thus sort of clouding the issue because it's a little bit foggy as to exactly what they are, since we operate on a similar level. So it can be both. It can be spirit, it can be extra dimensional beings that you would call extraterrestrial. It's just that, again, as a child, you may perceive all of these beings in a variety of ways and not necessarily be clear on exactly what you're perceiving because they operate so similarly.
Okay. Do you have any comment on the sounds that I heard in my ear? And they were sensations too, of like a moth or flapping in there.
Yes, we're not really allowed to go into this too deeply, but there are beings that exist interdimensionally in between what you would call normal realities that are perceived from time to time, sometimes referred to as Mothmen, and so on and so forth. We cannot talk about this right now too much, but such beings, interdimensional beings, do exist, and they have a particular purpose that we will discuss at a later time.
Okay. Also, when I was a child, I was so attracted to horror films and being scared, and I would create situations where I would be afraid, and
Yes.
I would want to go on all the scariest roller coasters. And I watched those kind of movies probably at what most people would say too young of an age, the horror movies.
Yes. Well, this may be part and parcel what also allowed you to interpret your perception in that way, in that particular domain. Now, again, many people will do this to feel excitement and to understand that it's a cathartic experience that at the end of it allows you to come out feeling stronger and all right because nothing really happened to you. You're using the idea to strengthen yourself against the fear, but sometimes, again, these things can also impart the idea of having a fear reaction to things that you don't understand.
Okay. Now, are there more ghosts in those areas of like old Civil War battle sites and cemeteries?
There can be,
Yeah.
but again, remember, some of these things are, again, etched into the fabric of space and time because of the high degree of emotional experience that was had by the people at that time, especially in life and death situations. It will imprint itself upon the fabric of space and time, and thus it's not always a live thing going on when you perceive what might appear to be a ghost in those so-called recreations of the past.
Hmm. Okay. Now, can some ghosts um, be kind of in disguise of another being, or it's not actually
They
like it
can,
is?
but it's usually for the purpose of being some sort of a guide for the living, to allow the living to have something more familiar to relate to.
Is that very common?
Well, common is a relative term. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it happens a lot, but yes, as a technique, it's not uncommon.
Mhm. Okay. And who are usually the beings are usually guides then that kind of show up in the form of another more familiar
For the
being?
most part, for the most part, unless it actually is literally someone that you know as part of your soul family or someone who has passed over.
Well, they're busy doing their own things a lot, right? So they don't.
That doesn't mean that they don't respond to you when you need a connection. Because again, remember, space and time for them are not the same as it is for you as an experience. If you truly call to them, they'll be there for you. They're not always hanging around, but they have the ability to instantaneously be with you if you truly contact them.
Okay, that's great. Could other people contact my spirit, and then I would be in contact with them
It can
without
happen
me?
that way.
Yeah, without
Yes,
me even consciously knowing it. As
yes,
a.
it
Mhm.
is possible. Yes, it depends upon the purpose for it, but yes. Because again, remember, you are all in spirit right now. And you don't have to be aware of every connection you have because it's simply not relevant for your physical experience.
Okay. Now, do most ghosts know that they have died? I know you've talked about some ghosts they don't even know.
The vast majority do know.
Okay, but some of them that don't know, could they have died with another person, and then both of those spirits don't know they've died, and they keep?
It's rare, but it's possible. There have been a few cases of such. In fact, there have been cases when entire groups of individuals may not actually understand that they have just died. But again, it's relatively rare because there is help from the other side. Eventually, they will awaken to the fact that they are no longer having a physical experience.
So before they realize that, what's going on with them? Like, what are they experiencing together? All if it's a group.
Well, again, they may be reliving certain things. They may be in a form of discussion. They may be re-experiencing certain things and playing them out again or figuring out what's going on. There may be a number of different reasons why individuals or collectives may be replaying or revisiting or re-experiencing certain things or trying to ponder what's going on with them that they don't understand.
And then you've also said that when we die, we don't have to die. Sometimes we can choose to come back and start off where we left behind. We didn't
Yes,
even
well,
know.
you have died. It's just that you're sort of reconnecting to a parallel version that seems as if you haven't.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bashar.
Yes, you are
Aveo.
welcome. Aveo.
Good day, Bashar. My question for you is, what are the 5 questions that humanity should be asking right now? Thank you.
Who am I truly? How can I express who I am fully? How can I be of service in being who I am to all others? Those are the top 3. And that will suffice.
Hello, Bashar.
Hello, good day.
I have a couple of questions about the planetary grid system.
Yes.
In February 2022, over 1,000 people meditated in the Great Pyramid over several days. Our purpose was to realign the planetary grid for future generations. Each of us represented one of the nodes of the planet, either the physical, mental, or spiritual aspect. Can you please tell me the result of that?
Not so much necessarily the idea of alignment, because it's already in alignment with itself, but the idea of amplification, magnification of the energy lines of the grid so that it can be more easily perceived by those who are sensitive enough to do so. Does that make sense?
Yes. So they're not out of alignment. It's just
No,
a different.
they're not out of alignment. Humanity is out of alignment.
I see.
So it's about bringing humanity back into alignment with the grid by amplifying and magnifying the energy of the grid to make it more perceivable so that in perceiving it, people can bring themselves back into alignment with it.
Okay. Now, I'm aware of the crystalline grid, but can you tell us about the other grid systems of the planet, both above and below the surface?
Well, again, there is always a spiritual grid that the physical grid takes its cue from the template level non-physical reality to the physical reality. The idea of the crystalline structure of the Earth in general and the crystalline grid is again that which allows a certain kind of reality to be experienced, a certain pattern, a crystalline pattern that locks in a certain frequency, a certain vibration that sometimes is perceived by many as what you call the Schumann resonance of about 7.85 cycles per second. This allows you to connect strongly with the idea of being a physical being a natural being on Earth in physical reality. But it also, shall we say, penetrates into multiple dimensions simultaneously, including parallel realities, especially the ones that might be more relevant for the experiences you are having. So it makes it easier for you to cross-connect through one grid to another to the different parallel realities that might be relevant for your life theme in your exploration. Does that make sense? Do you understand what we're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
So is there a grid that holds our past life memories or all the memories of the planet as well?
Well, as I just said, what we were just talking about is the idea most commonly referred to as parallel realities, because remember, there's no such thing as the past. That's just a parallel reality that you're calling the past. So what we already just explained includes the idea that you're calling the past.
Okay. And did Tesla know how to tap into this grid for
Yes.
energy?
Yes.
Is it related?
Yes.
How so?
Well, again, it's all about resonance. It's all about frequency. And he understood that there were special frequencies that allowed you to amplify, magnify, and perceive an effect in your reality, create an effect in your reality from aligning with the frequencies of the grid.
Okay. And was Tesla tapping into a grid of crystals below the surface of the planet?
Well, the idea of grids goes all the way to the core and actually interdimensionally beyond. So some of that was included, even though he may not have been aware of all the different levels. He understood that there was a level that was accessible, as you say, tappable in your reality. And he understood that it would expand to other levels above and beyond physical reality and what you might call below interdimensionally physical reality. He didn't know the full extent of it, but he suspected that there were other levels of the grid that he was tapping into as well.
I see. Now I wanted to change the subject and talk about the people that tune into you. Do we all have an Essassani background? Like, do I know you?
No, you do not all have an Essassani background, but you all have extra-dimensional and extraterrestrial connections. And most of you, not all of you, most of you are actually connected to the hybridization agenda.
Okay, so we're a lot of us here now to teach.
Yes, do you have to ask that question?
I just wanted verification.
You are here to participate in the evolution of humanity and to help guide through the actions that you take that are positively oriented, the idea of offering more positive and constructive options to other people on your planet so that those that can choose and those that are willing to choose can allow themselves to shift to more positive and constructive versions of the earth.
Okay. Wow, interesting. All right, thank you, Bashar.
Thank you. Good day.